last week I spoke a little bit about Muhammad Hijab, and I tried to send him a polite message because I was a little bit touched by his get to know me, his story kind of a video, which was only 7 minutes long. And I was like, yeah, okay, look, deep down inside all of that, putting everything aside, he's just another guy. Let's try to reach out to him. But then I saw him holding these demonstrations, these pro-Palestinian demonstrations. I don't think we should even call them pro-Palestinians, because I don't know how many of those hooligans were actually Palestinians. So are these guys really talking for them? For example, those guys who attacked Mufti Abu Lait's house. Can we let them? And I had to apologize for it because I called them Palestinians, but they weren't. We have no way of finding out whether they were Palestinians or not. And a lot of Palestinians were upset that I accused them of acting like those thugs. So it can't be. So we don't know. It's like other people are getting offended on behalf of the Palestinians. And I've spoken about enough about the issue, and I learned the hard way that sometimes you either keep your mouth shut or take a strong position. There's none of this sitting in the middle, trying to look into things objectively and just say, okay, well, this is what Israel is doing is wrong, and this is what a Palestinian or Hamas is doing is wrong. So you try to look into these things objectively, and then at the end of the day, you're left nowhere. You're like in the middle of a desert, and everyone hates you. There's a saying in Urdu which says "Kavva chala hans ki chal apne bhi bhul gaya," meaning like a crow tries to walk like I don't know what hans is. Let's say crow tried to walk like a pigeon, but then it forgot its own walk as well. So that is kind of like what would have fit on me, as I got a lot of hate mails or hate messages from Muslims. I don't know if they were Palestinians or not. And I got a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but really critical messages from pro-Israeli people as well. I don't know if they were Jews or not, but let's just say they were. I don't know. It's very hard to tell because obviously some of the Jews are living in the Western world. They speak very good English, and even Israelis speak very good English, but at least you could probably tell that, okay, this person is Israeli or not. So one such message was from a girl, I can't remember her name, but she sent me an email actually. Yeah, well, I'm not going to share that email because in case there's some private information there, but so I received a very long ass email from a girl, and she was telling me something like, you don't need to sit on a fence, take a position, you can't try to, you basically, anyway, so she was just not happy with me for not taking a strong position either way. And I don't know, I have to say it. I'm in favor of the existence of Israel. I think Israel has a right to exist, and Israel has a right to defend herself. I have always said that. I have always maintained that. But when we go into West Bank, then it becomes really tricky. It's I can't imagine that if I'm living here in this house that I built, or I inherited it from my grandparents, I can't imagine someone knocking on the door. Let's just say native Australians, Aboriginals, they come and knock on the door and they say, well, this land belonged to us. It's belonged to us for nearly 55,000 years. Their case is even stronger. It's not 3,000, it's actually 55,000. And they say, well, pack up your bag. Either you pay us rent or get lost. I can't imagine that. And I think it's a very bad logic, because once you start living there, like even one generation has gone past, that's it. You get over it. So that's my position, and that's why I can't support Israeli expansionism, although I totally understand why they're doing that, because they think that if they create the state of Palestine, if they create West Bank and Gaza and turn that into one big country, it's going to be a very hostile country. They can't even handle Gaza with 1,000 rockets flying into them. And I think 99% of them they're blown up in the air, but 1% still lands in Israeli civilian populations, which is obviously not. And there's always going to be some sort of a casualty, which is obviously regrettable and condemnable. So basically, that lady was not happy with me for not taking a position, and she thought that I was pro-Palestinian. And Muslims are also looking to hunt me as always. And as we know that how charged up this topic is, as Mufti Abu Layth learned the hard way, the guy wasn't even pro-Israeli at all, and his house was attacked. So this just gives you an indication that maybe you can criticize Islam the way we do, but you can't comment on, or you can't say anything in favor of Israel. I mean, I've spoken more in favor of Israel than Mufti Abu Layth has. Mufti Abu Layth has never said anything in favor of Israel. He calls it a Zionist state, apartheid state, and it's a terrorist state, etc. That's what he believes, and still he got attacked. I imagine what would happen to me if I just went there, because I'm just saying that, yep, Israel has a right to exist. But I think that the two-state solution is the most viable solution, but Israel is obviously not willing to do that, which is a tragedy. As a result, Palestinians play into the hands of Hamas, which is a terrorist organization, and they say, well, we're gonna throw rockets at them. And that's unfortunately, it's gonna keep going. One more thing that I want to apologize. I actually want to apologize to the whole Jewish community, and apparently one innocent comment actually upset them the most, and I totally get it. Why this is such an emotional topic, and why people like us should be careful. As you guys would know, I'm no conspiracy theorist. I have always despised those conspiracy theorists and made fun of them, whether they're flat earthers, or 9/11 was an inside job, or moon landings were a hoax, or anti-vax, you name it. Every conspiracy theory that there is out there, I am against it. So how could I be how could I be a believer? How could I be a Holocaust denier? I'm definitely not a Holocaust denier or downplaying it at all. So in one of my videos, I think I ended up saying like Hitler killed 3 million Jews. That is obviously not what I believe. I go with the official numbers, which is 6 million Jews. I was corrected. Obviously, it's just, it's just an oversight, and I misspoke about the number of casualties. So I fully understand the pain that Jews suffered. I recognize that as the biggest I would say it's the biggest genocide of the 20th century. Yes, there have been some terrible other genocides as well, like Armenian genocide, and there's so many others, and all the Russians who, I think something like 12 million Russians died in Second World War. They paid the heaviest toll as well. So all those things happen as well, and I would always go by the opinion of the experts. And all the agreed upon statistics are, or the number that is given, that is 6 million Jews, and I totally recognize that. I don't downplay it. Me saying it was 3 million, that was purely a mistake, and I'm not a Holocaust denier or a downplayer of that. To help me produce more videos like these, support me on Patreon or PayPal.